Welcome to week 7 of Rooted. This week's topic is on trust. And this one is near and dear to my heart because I've learned a lot about trust in the last couple years. And there's a point in my life when I did not trust Jesus. I did not trust that He alone would fill me give me peace, give me strength. I didn't trust that He alone could do that. As I look back on my journey with anxiety and depression, I can see that that was the root cause of it. Now, it's hard for me to speak on this topic because everyone who struggles with anxiety and depression has a different root cause. And so I don't ever want my journey to sound like this is the only journey because it's not true. So whenever I share my story with you guys, and everyone has differing levels of it, I don't ever want it to come across as this is the only way to get out of it. This is the only cause. That's not what I'm saying at all. So if you struggle with it, please use my story as an encouragement, but don't use it as, well, she's got it figured out or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that disclaimer in there as I talk about my story with that and what I realized was the root cause of it. I still have those tendencies today, but I'm able to rise above them because I'm learning that Jesus is enough. And I know that now. I fully 100% believe it and trust it. And I know that whatever happens to me in this life, as long as I have Jesus, I will have enough. I will be sustained. We'll read about it this week in Jeremiah 17, how it talks about the trees. One will see the heat coming and it'll wither, and the other will have its roots extended to waters because Jesus is that water, and Jesus is our roots, and He will sustain us. Whatever our circumstances are, He is the only thing we need. And it's really easy to say that. It's a lot harder to live it out. Trust me, I know. The thing is, I didn't always understand. It was hard for me to trust when I didn't understand. Like, why is this happening? Why are these roadblocks happening in my life? Why why? I don't understand. I don't understand why. It doesn't make sense to me. And so then I found myself in this lack of trust. And so then I found myself more susceptible to believe these lies that Satan was telling me. And it was easy to lay down in feelings of despair because when I tried to overcome the lies that Satan was telling me with my own strength, I never was able to. My eyes weren't focused on Jesus. My eyes were focused on my circumstances. And I was looking at them and I was either getting overcome by fear and worry. I was either trying to fix them myself, or I was just looking at them and throwing my hands up because it just seemed like I could never fix it. And the thing is, we will never be able to fix our circumstances. And the other thing is, our circumstances will never be perfect. There will always be something to worry about. There will always be something that we don't understand. There will always be something that comes into our lives that is hard. And we just have to take our eyes off of those things around us. We have to take our eyes off of the heat, like that one tree, and we have to focus our eyes on Jesus, our root system, because Jesus, He is extending to water. It doesn't matter if the water is miles away, and we can't see it. He is there, and He is sustaining us. And so whenever I start having those days again, I've overcome by God's help, by God's grace, by Him teaching me in this journey. I've overcome anxiety and depression, but I have those tendencies and I have those things. It's my trigger. Satan, he knows that I'm weak in believing lies. He knows that I don't think too high. I don't think very high of myself in a bad way. That sounds weird, but I think too low of myself. That's probably what I should say. He knows that. And so he comes and he tries to get me to worry. He tries to get me to believe lies. And when I start feeling frustrated, when I start losing my patience with my kids, when I start dwelling on, oh my word, I'm not good enough. Oh my word, I'm going to fail. Oh my word. When I start having those familiar feelings come back and those frustrations and those almost like I don't know. Some days you just feel like you can't control it. That's just my story. That's just me when I'm going through really hard days, when Satan's really attacking. I have to make the choice to step back and say, Jesus, my circumstances right now don't look too promising. I don't understand why this is happening. It's really hard for me to focus my eyes on you when there is I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. I'm discouraged. I'm looking at this person. And I'm discouraged. And when I realize that I'm looking at everything around me, and my heart is unsettled, and I'm not at peace, and when those things come, I realize I'm not looking at Jesus. Because when I look at Jesus, I know it's okay. I know there's a reason for things. I know there's a reason for these struggles. I know there's a reason that I'm going through this particular situation, and I can have faith that he will help me through, and he will comfort me with his word. Just even being in the word comforts me. Even if I used to open up the word when I was struggling, and I used to be like, just give me something comforting. Give me something. I just want something comforting. And the older I've gotten and the more I've gone down this life's path, I'm realizing it's not about that. It's about just his word. It doesn't matter if it's this weird battle we don't understand. Just opening up his word and even just sitting there with it is comforting. And so instead of demanding answers from him, I think it's important that we change our focus from wanting the answers and wanting comfort and wanting, just to know where we're supposed to go, how we're supposed to get rid of these circumstances. Instead of focusing on that, if we just shift our eyes to Jesus and say, I don't know how to focus on you right now, but I know I'm supposed to. So teach me how to focus on you. Teach me how to stop looking at all of these distractions. Teach me to stop looking at my circumstances and teach me to trust you. Because trust is something that doesn't come natural for us. It's something we work at, and it's something that we grow into. And sometimes it's something we just say, I don't know how to trust right now. Help me to trust. Even that is trust, because you're trusting that Jesus will help you, even when you don't know how to trust. And so I encourage you today, sometimes it's really hard to trust, and sometimes it doesn't make sense to trust. And sometimes it is a whole lot easier to try to fix our circumstances and try to, make something that we can trust in. And that's never going to leave us fulfilled. Only Jesus is going to leave us fulfilled. And a lot of times when we let go and when we surrender, I found that he chooses to, bless us in ways that we would have previously wanted when we were demanding it. So like, for example, when I was pretty discouraged about something. I was a little worried about something, and I was just like, I'm just going to open up the word. I don't care where it opens. I just want to be in God's word. And it opened up to this chapter that just spoke exactly to my heart. And that's what I would have wanted before. I wanted something to open up to before, and I would have demanded that before. Like, I'd sit there with the Bible, and I'd be like, is this like a good place? You think maybe this is like the Psalms? I bet there's something. Maybe if I opened up here. I had this whole process of opening up, God give me some comfort, and then I had this process of even hoping as I was it was not, I was demanding something that God chooses to bless us with. He wants it to be a blessing. And so I'm not promising that's going to happen all the time, but I found that when I surrender and I just say, I don't know what's going on, but I choose to focus on you. Please teach me how to focus on you. I found that he blesses us in ways that we want, but it's just a faith thing. I don't know. I can't really put my words. I can't articulate what I'm trying to say. But I just pray that when we're struggling to trust, that we can just surrender. And if all we can do, because this is all we know how to do, is say, I don't know how to trust, but I trust you will teach me. Help me to focus my eyes on you. He will, and our trust will grow. And we will be drinking deeply from the roots extended far, far out to the river. So I pray that as you go through this study that you can rest and trust, knowing that Jesus alone is enough.